Robbie here from AFTV. I just had to pull over. I was actually taking my son, or should I say, took my son to, he's playing some football today. And I got the breaking news that Willian has signed for Arsenal. Worst kept secret. We knew it was going to be happening. I've been talking about it a lot on Transfer Daily, but it's now official. Willian is an Arsenal player. And be really interesting to find out how you guys feel about it. Let's talk about Willian. He has been a top player for Chelsea. Let's be real. He's had 7 great seasons there. He's been a real integral part of that Chelsea team. He's won trophies there. And if you look at him this season, you know, he's been that mainstay player. You know, even though they've had a lot of young players that have come in because of the transfer ban, he's been that ever dependable, top quality player that brings a lot to that team. And you could see, even when we played them in the FA Cup final and he didn't play, you could see that they miss Willian. His ball carrying ability is second to none. He's very, very quick. He reads the game very well. His passing range is fantastic. Brilliant at free kicks. Brilliant at penalties. I don't know who's going to take the penalties now at Arsenal, because he's also a person who never misses penalties. And just an all-round great professional. Now, I'm going to be honest here. When we first got linked with Willian, I was like, another Chelsea player. He's coming towards the end of his career. 32 now. 32, remember. We've had people moaning about Aubameyang being too old. This guy's even older, right? Recently turned 32. And you're thinking, Petr Cech, Gallas, David Luiz. Why is it that we always take these Chelsea players when they're kind of past their sell-by date? Why do we need to bring this guy in? Then he plays out wide. We've got wide players. How many more wide players, wide attacking players are we going to have at Arsenal? What's going to happen to Reece Nelson? What's going to happen to Saka? Does that set them back? We've got Pepe who can play there. We've got Aubameyang who can play out wide. Why do we need Willian? That's what I was thinking at first. But the more I sort of started to think about it, I started to say to myself, actually, you know what? When you really think about it, it does make a lot of sense. Number one, we know with the whole coronavirus thing, money is limited at the moment for Arsenal. They said it even before the end of the season. We've seen our players have to take pay cuts. We've seen staff being laid off. Money is really short this transfer window to buy players. We're not going to go out there and splash multi-millions on, say, a young version of Willian. Now, you look at Willian now and you think to yourself, well, he's a top pro, very experienced in the Premier League. As I said, he's been at Chelsea for 7 years. A very experienced international player. He's still very, very quick. He hasn't lost his pace. He hasn't lost his dribbling ability. And he hasn't lost, and I think this is very important, he hasn't lost his stamina. He's one of these players that you put him in a game and he just goes. You know what I mean? He's not a player that lacks stamina. And if you look at his record at Chelsea this season, he started practically every game. It was Frank Lampard's go-to guy. So he's not lacking in those departments. Again, he's not really like what you would say a 32-year-old should be playing like. You know, he's a very, very fit guy. I also note that Arteta, in talking about the signing of Willian, said he can play in 4 positions. So he's a great player to have. Now, we know he can play out wide, right? We know that already. Either right or left, we know he can play out wide. But where he can also play, which may benefit Arsenal big time, and something we really lacked last season, is he could play in that sort of number 10 position. He can play as that sort of forward behind the front three, because he's excellent at passing the ball, as I said. He's just got a, you know, he's just a great operator in those regions, and he can pick the ball up and he can drive at defenses, and he also does his work off the ball. He's good at closing down and stuff like that. So when you think about it, it starts to make more sense. Now, the wages. £100,000 a week is what it's been reported. Nobody knows the full details. They're not going to disclose it. But the reports are £100,000 a week. On my Transfer Daily show today, I spoke about the fact that the Daily Mail were reporting that it's actually going to be way more than 100 grand a week. There's rumored to be a big signing on fee. And he is another one of those Kia Drapchin players. And we know that Kia Drapchin, even though he's an Arsenal fan as an agent, he's an agent. And, you know, agents like this, right? So there's a lot of talk, and the story emanating from the Daily Mail, that when you include the signing on fee, when you include bonuses and add-ons, if he hits all his targets, he could be earning up to £220,000 a week. Now, this is just paper talk at the moment. I don't know if that's 100% accurate, but if that is true, that is a hell of a lot of money. If it is that he's getting 100 grand a week, again, I think that's quite reasonable. We have given him quite a long contract, though. I mean, 3 years is a long deal. Whether he will last out those 3 years, I very much doubt it. I get the feeling that, you know, he'll be a player that probably be at Arsenal for maybe a season, 2 seasons. Then you can see him moving on to a team in America or something like that. There were teams like Inter Miami over there in America that were interested in him right now. There also was quite a lot of clubs interested in Willian, but he chose to come to Arsenal. And I think in an attacking sense, he's going to bring a lot to the table. I really do. I do think that this is a good signing. And this is me being honest, because as I said, initially, I was just like, I think it's the whole Chelsea thing. I was just like, another player that's just rolling over from Chelsea to finish off his career. But I'm now feeling a lot more positive about him. It has to be, though, one of many good signings for me. I understand this one. I understand it's a cheaper deal. No big transfer fees having to be laid out and that. But this just has to be part of something bigger for me. We know the main problem is the defence. We've got to fix the defence. But looking at it, I think it's a good signing. I think it's a positive signing. I do think he's going to bring something to the team. He's a winner. He brings experience. Chelsea fans didn't really want to lose him. That, again, is a good sign. And I mean, a lot of, you know, there wasn't really many of them too worried about losing David Luiz and Gallas and people like that. But with this one, they're like, they would, you know, they didn't really want to lose him. Frank Lampard wanted to give him a new contract. Those sort of things says a lot. But he's come to Arsenal. Now, attacking wise, Arsenal started to look pretty exciting. But as I said, we've got to fix those defensive problems. But for one, you know, it's great to see him in the place. I love the hairstyle. I'm really, really jealous. We got another player with big hair at the club. But nah, to be real, I think it's a fantastic signing when you consider it's on a free. So Willian is officially an Arsenal player. The worst kept secret is over. He has joined Arsenal, and I would like to wish him all the best in his career at Arsenal and say to him, welcome to Arsenal, Willian. Robbie here from AFTV. We've just got to say a big thank you to everybody who follows us across our various channels. Over 1 million followers on YouTube. Don't forget, you can now also catch us on Reddit. We're on Reddit, so get involved with us on Reddit and also on TikTok. Keep it AFTV, baby, right here.